Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today we will be reviewing another knife. And the knife is the Spyderco Chicago. Spyderco Chicago. And as you can see right off the bat, this is a little guy. And there's a reason behind that. But I'm going to give you some specs and then we'll talk about the knife. So, Spyderco Chicago, the overall length is 5.031 inches. The closed length is 3.125 inches. The blade thickness is 0.093 inches. The blade length is exactly 2 inches long. The edge length is 1.75 inches. The weight on the knife is 2.2 ounces. So it's a nice, decently lightweight knife. And the blade steel on this, which I'm super excited about because I didn't know that they had changed the blade steel when I got it, because I just got it the other day. It is BD1 blade steel. So super pumped about that. Before this knife was offered with the G10 scales as a 440C blade. And I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but it says BD1 right there. So that's pretty cool. Made in Taiwan. So the upgraded steel is a bonus. So I was super excited about that. So now this is a super small little knife. As you can see, it's a little tight, so I still need to play with it, but it can flick open. So you got this really stubby leaf-shaped blade, a lot of belly on it for a Spyderco knife. It's flat ground blade, plain edge, and it's a satin finish. As you can see, we got the little spider there, a large size spider hole for the size of the blade. BD1 steel, made in Taiwan. Now there is a forward finger choil that I would have to say has to be used for a decent grip, because you do, holding it back here, you really don't have decent leverage, and it's a 2-finger. You feels much more comfortable using that finger choil as a 3-finger grip with that thumb locked into that thumb wrap. Now the Chicago is kind of a little brother knife to the Spyderco Cat, so they're basically designed very similar, especially in the handle design, but in 2 different sizes. When they first came out, they were offered in a carbon fiber handle scale with a S30V blade, but they had changed it to make it a little bit more affordable for the knives, and they changed it to G10 scales and then 440C. So I ordered this thinking I would get a 440C blade, and sure enough, I got the BD1 blade steel. Now, if you don't know anything about BD1, it operates really similarly as like a VG10. And I got this wrong in some of my other videos, so I'm just going to clear that up. I meant to say VG10, even though I think I said S30V. But it's definitely, around the same level, if not slightly better than, your Sandvik steel and your VG10. And it has, from what I've heard from other reviews and stuff, BD1 actually has a really good corrosion resistance. So it's going to repel rust a lot better than some of the other steels. So really good stain resistance, so awesome. As you can see, black G10 scales on both sides. It is a liner lock. There's a decent sized cutout. Boom. There is no jimping. Should have jimping. As we move down, it has a very small lanyard hole. So if you're a lanyard guy, this will not fit 550 cord. So you're going to have to find a smaller diameter cord to fit through there. If we flip it over, you can see it has that deep carry slip it wire pocket clip. So as you can see, I'll actually close this. So when you wear it in your pants, you'll have just very little showing. Plus these slip-it pocket clips slide in and out of pockets super nice, so really impressive. And especially for a small knife like this, you put it in your pocket and you forget about it. If you can see, the one side of the liner is pretty heavily milled out. You got like two larger cutouts with some other smaller cutouts on the one side, and then the other side has a fairly wide liner lock, so it locks the blade in fairly deep within. Yeah, you get an open pillar construction, got your standoffs, your lanyard tube, stop pins and pivot pins. There isn't much to say about it. The pocket clip is left or right side tip up only. And I don't know. You can just tell when I got it. It's a fun little robust knife for the size. I mean, I guess I'll talk about that. The knife was designed to meet knife carry laws for the city of Chicago. And certain metropolitan areas have more stricter carry limits of limiting a knife blade under 2 inches. The blade itself is 2 inches with the cutting edge 1.75 inches. So this does meet Chicago knife laws as well as a few other cities, I'm sure, that are out there. So I personally got this knife so I could comply with that, because I will be taking a trip out there, and I have taken trips out there before. And so, I try to be respectful and I'll comply to any laws that are out there that I know of. And two, just give me another reason to test out a knife. And honestly, for a small EDC, you really don't need that big of blade to open packages, open envelopes, cut open cardboard boxes, cut some paracord. It's a very nice little utility blade that you can EDC and even carry as like a gentleman's blade or a suit knife. So pretty cool. I really like it. I'm glad they upgraded the blade steel to BD1. I think the next evolution in this knife would just be adding some jimping. So now I'm going to compare it to a couple of other knives. And of course, I'm going to show off the Spyderco Cat. Now, as you can see, it's more or less the exact same handle design, just smaller. Okay, and they actually have the same type of pocket clip. So little brother and big brother. As you can see, the handles on all these other knives are much larger. The blades on all the other knives are much larger. It's a smaller blade, and honestly, I think it's the smallest knife I own. So that being said, we'll look at the blade thickness. Now, the CTS BD1 blade is actually thicker than the 440C Cat blade, just by a hair. And as you can see, they look pretty close. I might give the edge to the Cryo G10. If we look at the Delica, you can see that the Spyderco Chicago is thicker. If you look at the Crater C33L, you can see that it is slightly thicker. So the Chicago is thicker, and then this one, they're pretty similar, but the Chicago is thicker. So hopefully they'll step up the next Spyderco Cat with some BD1 blade steel, because I think that'd be a great improvement. But not to say that the 440C doesn't work. It does work great for small EDC sizes. Now, when you're working with a knife this small, I'm not sure if you'd actually be using gloves, but just so you know, this is the ugly brown glove test to see if a knife is usable with a, basic work glove. So my thumb fits in there, locks in. I have a sure grip, though with the cloth thumb on that unjimped thumb ramp there, it is slippery. So as far as locking in there, it doesn't work, but the G10 scales work fine. Oh, I was able to flick it open, and with that decent size cutout, it's easy enough to close. So passes the ugly brown. Sorry, it's really late, but there it is. If you didn't know, now you know. The Spyderco Chicago comes with the new BD1 blade steel, at least new for this knife. An improvement over the 440C. Deep carry wire pocket clip. Stainless steel liners. Honestly, I'm excited to carry this. I've carried it a few times. Small enough, I've carried it dancing. Great little utility blade that I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of use out, and I think a lot of people like it. I give it 5 out of 5. I really have no complaints other than needs jimping and a larger lanyard hole. But honestly, for a knife this small, I don't think you need a lanyard. So, thank you, everyone. Check out the eye in the upper right-hand corner there. I'll put links to some of these other knives and my subscription unboxing, and stay tuned for another video. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much.